I'm Lama Tantrapa. Welcome to the second day of our Resilience Challenge. Today we are going to take another step in the direction of building greater resilience on the basis of the foundation that we built yesterday. As you may recall, yesterday we explored natural stance. If you missed that chance to learn about natural stance, just visit a video and a description for it in our previous meetup in our online community. What is natural stance? It's what happens when you jump and land softly, absorbing the shock of landing by bending your knees. Just like this. You don't have to jump high, but you need to land softly enough and just check where your knees are pointing, whether or not they're pointing in the same direction where the toes are pointing. If they're not pointing in the same direction, it means your bones of the upper legs, lower legs, and your feet are not in alignment. And most likely you will carry more weight on either outer or inner edge of the foot. If your knees are pointing further away from the center line of your body as compared to the toes, that's what we call bow-leggedness, and you will carry more weight on the outer edge of your foot. Your foot will be supinated. If you turn your knees more inwards in relation to the toes, you will carry more weight on the medial side of the foot, and your foot will be pronated. Either way, it's a misalignment. But let's not stop there. Let's also assess whether or not you distribute weight evenly between the heels and toes. Let's check. Where is more weight? On your heels or on your toes? Or somewhere in between. Obviously, most likely you are going to land somewhere where the weight is closer to the center of the foot. Why? Because if it's farther away from the center, it's hard to stand. It's like, imagine a tall building. If the center mass of the building doesn't land on the center of the footprint of the building, it's not going to be a stable structure. As a human structure, we also want to be stable. And in order to do that, we want to distribute weight on the centers of our feet. The closer to the center, the better. It may not be perfect, but imagine that the center of the foot is like the center of a suction cup. If you distribute pressure on the center of the suction cup, it will stick to the surface you want it to stick to. But if there is any misalignment or you're applying pressure off center, it won't work. The same thing applies to the foot. Even though the center of the sole of the foot, due to the arch of the foot, may not even touch the surface of the floor you're standing on. Just like at the center of the suction cup, that's where connection is created with the ground you stand on. If you want to be grounded, you need to distribute the pressure on the centers of both of your feet. And if we're talking about how the centers not even touch the surface of the floor you stand on, then at least it's going to be an even distribution between the toes and the heel, as well as between the inner and outer edges of the foot. So if you divide the length of the foot and the width of the foot in half, that intersection of the two lines will give you the physical center of the foot. The more grounded you are, the less tension you need to have in your legs in order to keep yourself from falling over. How do I know that? Well, let's test. Let's bring more weight towards the toes. Notice how your calves immediately have to tense up, otherwise you'll fall on your face. Now, let's shift the weight towards the heels. You have to have tension in your shins in order to not fall over backwards. Same thing also about the weight distribution between the medial and lateral sides of your foot. If you distribute weight on the medial sides of both feet, notice how much tension it requires in your groin. If you are bow-legged or you have your knees pointing further out away from center line as compared to where your toes point, that's likely that you have too much tension in your buttocks. And essentially what we're doing is learning how to reduce undue tension so that this tension doesn't create energy blockage. And if there is no energy blockage, then the energy can flow freely. That is how you connect to Mother Earth. That is the principle of grounding. So when people talk about grounding as being some kind of metaphysical thing, it's all nice and good, but let's actually embody grounding. This is the simple and elegant way to embody grounding. Now, there is a wonderful meditation that I also connect with this practice, and that is the meditation using the image of the seaweed. That's right. Just close your eyes for a moment, standing in a natural stance, and imagine you are a blade of seagrass growing at the bottom of the ocean. Way on the surface of the water, there may be some waves or swells, but here at the bottom, there are just gentle currents that may be swaying your grass as you relax and allow the movement of water to animate your body as the blade of seaweed completely relaxed, having no expectations, no judgments, just feeling what it's like to be a seagrass growing at the bottom of the ocean. The seaweed meditation doesn't require any complicated visualizations, and it's dynamic, which means your body is moving. And as you pay attention to how your body moves, you may notice how relaxed it becomes. That's right. Tension is frozen movement. And by moving, you actually defrost tension in your body. Notice how your breathing changes. As you change your breathing, allow it to become more and more spontaneous. We're not breathing in any particular manner. We're not exercising breathing. We're just allowing it to become as natural as humanly possible. And what can be healthier than being natural when it comes to breathing? Remember the principle of grounding. Even if your body is moving, your feet still connect to the ground with the pressure. The pressure being evenly distributed between the toes, heels, inner and outer edges of both of your feet. This meditation doesn't have to be long. Just a minute or two would suffice, especially for starters. What we want to also do is we want to test. Is it more effective for you to become relaxed like this? Does it make you a more functional human being? Does it improve your resilience? And in order to test it, I'm going to ask my partner, Aina, to do me a favor. Aina, would you do me a favor and use a testing push to push me into my stomach? I'm going to turn to face here and I'll take a natural stance. And do me a favor and push me with a testing push. So what she does is she first touches my body, the opposite foot forward, and then she's going to lift this foot up in the air and just let gravity move towards me. I'm not easily pushed on.
No.
And I'm not reacting or tensing up, am I? Now what is going on?
You're still moving.
I am standing where I want to stand. I stand my ground, but I'm not getting pushed over. Compare this to the way that I would experience the same push on receiving end if I stood with, let's say, my feet shoulder width apart, toes pointing forward, and would you do me a favor? I will even tuck the tailbone, just like most Tai Chi and Qigong teachers tell their students. Okay, would you do me a favor and do the same thing?
Yes.
Impossible to stand. Let's try it again. Maybe we can use the other hand. Maybe right one was afraid.
I do.
So,
Okay.
there's no way to stand. Now, I will do the same thing again. I will jump and land softly, and let's see if you can push me.
I'm losing balance. Because you're moving.
Yeah, I am like a seaweed, like a bag of water. You push, and instead of tensing up and resisting, I actually relax under pressure. Well, that is resilience, my friends. Ability to relax under pressure. I invite you to discover that for yourself, and please share your experiences in the writing, or in a video, or just posting a photo of yourself in our community. I look forward to seeing you there, and to seeing you in our next step in our journey tomorrow. Until then.